I come to play with you? Oh, no, 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 no. I mean, if you could with the leftovers. I mean, if you could be in second best. You must be cool with just falling in love with someone who's falling for someone else. I mean, if you're cool with Netflix and chill. I mean, if you cool with knowing you won't get a call today. Patience. I mean, if you're cool with no holidays, then it's sad to say, but I think you're so uncool. I think you're so uncool. I think you look like a fool, and all my friends be roasting you. Yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's it. That's our Melody Cherie right there. And I'm Queen Common Sense coming back to you from the Chi-Town remix. It to the sticks. Kakalaka with a twist of the city. Everywhere we touch down, we bring it gritty. I hope everybody under the sound of my voice is doing well today. I came to talk about this suffrage in silence and the generational curse that we are now trying to cure that was handed down from our elders, the boomer era, and some of the elders before them. And it creates a lot of lasting psychological and emotional, mental damage to sit and hold in trauma and pain and the things that cause us the ilk that we see that has taken on a life of its own from consciously and subconsciously teaching our young black girls that we all have a cross to bear and a dress to wear, and it's best is to be quiet because you don't want to ruffle nobody's feathers or offend the one that we are uh, desperately clinging to for survival, because that's how a lot of narcissists are created and bred along with other ingredients that cause narcissism in a lot of black men when they take on a wife and they want to be able to label that as a high value luxury to be able to cheat in peace because I am the man, I am providing for you, and because I take care of you, then you should allow me to have certain freedoms, whether it be intimate freedoms or otherwise, which are deemed as abuse and disrespect, have those freedoms in peace and be able to maneuver, use, and mistreat females as if we are some type of tool for their sick, narcissistic fetish and pleasures. Um, I came to just discuss a little bit about little Miss Tisha here, who is a textbook case, in my opinion, of, a modern day mammy. I'm going to just put it plain. Um, those among us in the black sistren who will sit with information that's critical to another black woman to preserve herself from getting exposed to pain, knowing what's going on, and refuse to alert her sister, her fellow sister. Now, with Tisha, I'm exceptionally disgusted, and I'm going to tell you why. For one, Letitia allegedly is also an AKA like Melody. And from the understanding that I got when I pledged, it was not just on campus, but off campus and in any aspect of our lives. The AKA, we're sisters. That means we empower one another, we protect one another, and so forth. That's what a sisterhood is, because the original history of sororities in HBCU settings was to fight for the right to an equal, balanced education, just like the colonizers received in higher education, higher learning, and to protect that sacred journey of higher education, empowerment, teaching our Black women that we are not second class citizens, and we have a vast and deep impact on the community, on our local, state, and globally throughout history. Okay. So that's the just the crux, scratching the surface of what a sorority sister responsibility is when you cross over and you earn your letters. Okay. I'm disgusted because clearly Miss Tisha is not living up to her vows as a sister in a sorority in conjunction with the AKAs. Okay. Just because you're well spoken and well dressed and you can, you know, flop a wig on your head and hop up on a screen and pretend that you're so well rounded and polished, that does not make a classy woman. And it's definitely not in alignment with what I know and experience to be an AKA. Okay. Now, with that out the way, I've been harping on this for a little minute. Tisha knew that Trash Tail was cheating from before Love and Marriage Huntsville aired. Okay. So did the rest of them. Let's start there. And I really have to take it up a notch and say the apple, once again, does not fall far from the tree because we see Wasteland Wanda and her entire mentality is totally flawed. It is totally upside down to what is in conjunction with womanhood, motherhood, parenting, and the example of what a well-rounded uh, what's the word I'm searching for? A well-rounded and polished, aware, self-aware woman, black woman. Now people are like, "Oh, well, it's not all about the woman when I'm a black woman." And I know how it feels firsthand to have a very disconnected mother because there was no real life experience for her to be able to explore herself and get to know herself before she married my father. She went straight from her parents' homestead and married the first man that came along to propose to her, which happened to be my father. She got lucky, and he happened to be, a pretty outstanding husband and father from what I remember. But I did see her do a lot of enabling of certain types of abuse in the household, a lot like Tisha. Now, when it comes to being a mother and you living the example of chaste, ethical, moral standards for a black woman, because our set of standards are a lot different than any other culture. Okay, because we already have to live down a lot of things before we even open our mouth when we're in the presence of mixed company. We know that the stereotypes and all that, the microaggressions of racism, all of that we have to fight through to be able to even display who we really are. And sometimes it works out, and other times it's a complete flop because you get the black scent type of people who think that all black women have to speak ebonics, and we have to act as if we are unintelligible to be able to fit in and make the colonizers comfortable. And if you have a expounded lexicon, that's a threat to them, because then that shows that you are intelligent and you are tuned and plugged in, and you are not the token. I find it very offensive when people put on the black scent to talk to me, because that is not normally how I speak. And it is not necessary to be able to connect to get me to understand you if you put on a black scent to talk to me, but you don't do that with any other of your uh, colleagues in your own culture. Okay. So now I heard the little tapes from the other content creator that were recently released, as well as those prior to, with the side chick dry snitching on everybody. And this is just really, to me, very, 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 very confirming of what we already saw unfolding throughout the entire journey of Love and Mary Huntsville season 1 up until now, season 6. Okay. So this is really, again, Tisha's karma. This is her karma coming right back around to punch her right in between the eyes. Because what I see is somebody who has been suffering in silence far too long and counting the years of her marriage to equate some type of success. The longevity of a marriage does not mean it's a successful marriage, a happy marriage, a balanced marriage, a healthy family and marriage, right? Because I was married 15 years to a covert narcissist, and he had the same type of mama as Tisha did. She was very facetious, very, very evil and calculated when it came to younger black women who were attractive, who were educated, and who had a little bit more intelligence as far as, being practical, having financial literacy, understanding the philosophy and how to maneuver with manipulative, enabled mama boy Jody type sons. Because it shows up in our daughters like a Tisha. And then when you are a male identified mother raising a son, it shows up like a trash tail, hotel, motel, holiday inn in our son. Right. And a lot of things with this particular pathology, it creates a lot of issues and problems for the children that are forced to stay in the situation with adults who are too busy chasing a fantasy and a fairy tale of what marriage should look like based on measuring it by somebody else's yardstick, melody, okay? And trying to emulate what someone else's marriage is when you need to be creating what that marriage is for you in your household that works for your family dynamic. Now, we already halfway in with Tisha and her husband, okay, because of the teaching subconsciously that she learned to be a pick me based on watching her own mama and how she moved with men and how she interacted with her own romantic selection. Both of them picker is broke, in my opinion. Okay, so that's that. And then furthermore, was infuriating with it just really chaps my hide with Wanda, because she knows she's in the wrong, right? And she tries to somehow gaslight not just everyone watching, but gaslight herself into somehow justifying having poor behavior and being subpar when it comes to ethics, morals, and having standards of what is unacceptable treatment and behavior from a man. You know, that's straight up and down pick me vibes. I'll take anything. I'll do anything. I'll let you embarrass me in public. I'll let you, terrify and horrify my children or our children that we have together. Anything that you need me to do to keep you here, I'll do, including being quiet while you are dotting around the universe, collecting all kind of germs and spiritually transmitted diseases to transmit back onto me and our children and how I mother. You know, it's very selfish because let me tell you something about how some of our elders enabled our sons to grow into adult abusers who marry women and become agents of chaos for the women that they choose and that they run throughout their journey of trying to find and pick a mate to be able to settle down. And we all know some of them, never settle down, right? And then others, they settle down and they wreak havoc in the lives of the women that they choose to marry. And then they wind up either having to be separated from their children or they stay with their children. And then the children grow up to be just younger versions of their abusive parents. Right? Because when you have infidelity in your marriage, that's not just abuse upon your spouse, that's abuse upon your children as well. Okay. And that's subconsciously giving them the okay that, well, I saw my dad doing it. I saw my mom doing it. I saw my older brothers and sisters doing it. So why isn't it okay for me to do it? Because that's all they know. That's the only pathology that they've been exposed to within that sacred union of marriage, and no one bothered to check it. No, it went unchecked and unaddressed because what happens when you address the poor behavior of a narcissist, they either blow up and they silence you with physical force or they silence you with treating you worse to get you to back up and back off and be quiet about what they're doing that is displeasing to you as their spouse. You are not looked at as an equal. You respect me, I respect you. See, that's why they call that a relationship. You dig? So now with these male identified women who sit by and don't say anything when they know that their friend girl spouse is being unfaithful, because quiet as it's kept, I still believe, my opinion is that Marcel with his hoe ass, he wanted to get at Melody. He thought he could backdoor Melody if he got knocked Martell out the way. He could have his cake and eat it too. He could keep his wife to be the built-in babysitter and then have his trophy side chick, and Melody would fit that profile. Or flip the script, you know, kick Tisha down to the side chick position and then marry Melody if she went for it. But we all know Melody wasn't coming or going. She wasn't having it. Okay. Period. And she said it on the show. She said, I'm still going to do what I want to do. And I'm not going to stick it out just so I could say I've been more married 25, 35, 45 years. You hear that, Tisha? So, I have very small circle of female friends because I am not a booty cheek kisser. I'm not going to sit back and watch you be unfaithful to your husband or your man and stand by and not check you. Okay. Especially if you have children. It's bad enough if it's just the two of you, right? Why are you committed to this person if you knew that you wanted to play the field? You don't get to play with people feelings like that. Number one, emotions, time, and energy like that after this man has invested in solely you, which is what you requested, and then you want to go turn around and take a dump all over his commitment and his heart because you decided to lower yourself to temptation. You decided to let the devil whisper in your ear and say, oh, if you do it once or twice, the thrill of the chase. Oh, I feel like I got it. Now I can collect. Right? I got them in rotation. I got holes in different area codes. See, that's not what marriage means. Okay. And for anyone to sit by and continue to allow that to go on in their presence and suffer in silence, because when your girlfriends suffer, you suffer. At least that's how I'm built. And I'm not going to watch you walk off the side of a cliff and destroy your life as you know it for a quick, cheap thrill. And then if you continue it, guess what? You have no longer have access to moi, my friendship, my love and energy. And don't call me when you get caught for me to come help you wipe your tears, because I'm going to say something and then I'm going to bounce. So with that being said, I kind of felt Kimmy on that. It's not okay to sit in silence and remain complicit when you know you're watching one of your boys or your girls being a straight up dog. Okay, because dogs is on got four legs. Okay, male and female. Okay, so Tisha, shame on you, because you knew better, just like your husband knew better, just like Scott's 2.0 knew better. Okay, that's why I call her Captain Kimmy, because she knew, you pillow talk with your spouse, right? I still have secrets that I have not discussed with anybody that my ex husband used to tell me about things that he knew what was going on with his best friend and his wife, and how the disgusting, deplorable things that his best friend was doing while he and his wife were separate, yet still married. Okay? So it doesn't matter if the couple is still together or they're separate, as long as they're legally married, that makes you a side chick. Period. Period, point blank. There ain't no arguing with that. There ain't no hashing that up. There ain't no way to justify messing around with somebody else's husband if they are still married. I don't care if they can stand each other's guts. If you married to her still, I'm not your side chick. I'm not your band-aid over the bullet hole. I'm not your coddle cushion. I'm not your pin cushion to comfort and stroke your ego of guilt because now you done pushed your relationship and marriage over off into the toilet, and you need some comfort until you put a lid on it so you can then just rebound and then come see me. Okay, that's not how that go. It's called having a standard. And as we see very well with Wasteland Wanda as a mama, there were no standards set. There was no boundaries of deal breakers there. There was nothing set in concrete spiritual stone that this is what I will not accept from you as my husband, especially now that we have children together. Okay, because if I accept it and don't say anything, don't say boo, you know, nothing, then my daughter is watching us at odds, and she's watching me not check that behavior at the door. See, and then once you check it, you got to give it a consequence. And with a lot of men who are enabled by their mamas, it got to be severe, right? It got to be severe, like one and done. You can't be like one, then I forgive you, and you do it again, and then boom, now finally, after your heart is broke and you're depleted, you done stressed yourself out, worrying up behind, chasing up behind this man to see if he's still cheating on you. All of that never should come into play. You dig? It's just innately ingrained in me, even though my mother was a very, very meek and timid woman, and in a negative way. It was weakness. There was no strength in her keeping her mouth shut when there was dysfunction on the table, when there was bad behavior. Okay, because the children absorb that negative energy and then they start to take it out on each other as siblings. And then you have sibling infighting and abuse that's connected to that narcissistic gaslighting of infidelity. The children suffer behind that because the way that it is supposed to be is mom, dad, then us. And we're supposed to be in the middle of that circle that mom and dad create, feeling protected, feeling safe, and understanding where the direction of our family is going, led by mom and dad. Ain't nobody else supposed to be in there, okay? Unless we add another sibling. That's what you call nuclear black family. Period. So for to see Tisha to sit up and play in Mel's face the way she did and act like she was clueless to the 20 girlfriend commentary that was stated by Trash Tail, It's beyond mind boggling. It blows my top because she knew, just like when they were up here in this cabin here in this slide here on the picture here frame. This right here, she knew. She knew right then and there when Melody said that I didn't experience infidelity until we all started hanging out together. This is the expression that was on Tisha's face. So after that is when Martell made the comment, it's not like y'all didn't have 20 girlfriends. And then here we come. All the dirty laundry is all washed out now. All the dirt's coming out in the stream, as my grandmother used to say, when you beat your clothes at the stream over that rock there. You take that rock and beat them clothes out and rinse them down first before you put that light soap on there. All of that dirt's coming out in the wash because we had an eyewitness, a side dish who saw everything. And she was put in check with a period on it and the I dotted with the T cross. Don't you say nothing. You let me sit here with you while I cheat on my wife in peace. Hush. And she did it like a fool. And we know we can speculate what type of mama that coleslaw has. From what I understand, word on the curb is she was a side chick professional too. A side chick professional, a provocative victim. You know, I don't care if you was 24, 34, 15, 14. If you're taught properly with the proper subconscious cues and reinforcements that it is my mother and my father, husband and wife, there is nobody else there that should come into play into this interaction and energy, spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally. These are my parents, right? And when one or the other is displaying poor behavior, it sends a direct message to that child. Oh, well, you know, dad did this and mom's not upset about it, or mom is upset about it, but what is she going to do about it? That's a natural, innate instinct after you reach age 7. Consequences. When you go to kindergarten, preschool, you are taught boundaries and consequences. And that applies to anything that we do in life when we interact with other humans. You should give a consequence to even your friends, your peers. You know what? This is a line of disrespect. That's a deal breaker. Yeah, I've known you 35 years. Yeah, we grew up together. Yeah, we call each other's mama, mama. Okay. But you crossed the line when you did or said this, that, or the other. And I can't fuck with that. You feel me? Consequences. And a lot of people are not angry at Melody because she left Martell. They mad at Melody because they didn't leave their spouse. Right? She said it. She said, I'm done with the crying and the chasing and the wondering and the worrying and the pulling up and the threats and the harassment and the false promises and the gaslighting, the crazy making and the word salad. I'm done. Okay? I'm out. You done went and had a whole nother child with this woman, and you expect me to sit here and continue to suffer? No, sir. Tisha is mad at Melody because she divorced Martell and she wishes she could divorce Marceau with his hoe ass. Period. Because I had the same thing happen to me. Okay. I was a little bit different with it. I did a lot of mirroring of the narcissistic abuse to drive my covert narcissist ex-husband out the house because I knew if I did anything on my own and initiated it, somebody would have been rolled out on a gurney. Okay. And I personally don't look good in orange jumpsuits. But so he went on ahead and left, and I forced him to file for divorce so that it would be all on him spiritually, energetically, metaphysically, and physically. He would have to hold that L, right? because he wasted my time. He tried to transplant this gaslighting, crazy making energy onto me and my children, right? And I didn't let him slide underneath the front door with his hat on, not one time. And the majority of my marriage to him, we were more like roommates. When Mel put Martell up in the attic up there, yeah, that's how we did it. You don't get access to my wifely fringe benefits while you are not behaving like a husband. You dig? You don't have access to me, whether it's spiritually, mentally, physically, and you don't even get the love of my southern city mixture of Creole, Cajun, soul food throwdown at the hoedown cooking neither. Okay? So if you want me to act like a wife, you need to act like a damn husband. That's how that goes. Now, I'm not totally cruel. Thank goodness that the physical stuff didn't start until it was at the tail end of the divorce for me. But I got slandered. I got mud slung on my name. I had elder women trying to talk me into going back and taking them back. I had people threatening me, low key, slick dissing me, all kind of stuff because they didn't believe in divorce. And if you're a Christian, how dare you break up a family, whether blended or nuclear, right? So you can't tell me Tisha is totally invested in knowing that her husband is faithful. Okay? Because there's a spiritual message here in this picture that I pulled up about this expo. Okay? Now, this is not this is not a supportive husband. This is not a power couple. This is not nothing but I'm your pimp, you my hoe. You gonna do what the fuck I say. You sit right here, make it look like we doing something, make it look like our marriage, and we on standing on business, and we not standing on nothing but fugaziness, nothing but nonsense, smoke and mirrors, fugaga. All of this is game right here. Period. Tisha, the jig is up. Miss Wanda, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for raising this girl to be a scatterbrained, nincompoop, dim-witted, dimwit, dumbbell. Men like weak men like that who have been enabled by their mamas, who don't have really, their own self identity. They're always trying to emulate the white male standard of success. Lots of women, lots of money, power, and dominance. Fast cars, exotic cars, fast women, fast life, flashiness. The more I spend for something means the better the quality. That type of ignorant shit. And that's just don't work because it's just not real. You know, like Biggie say, more money, more problems. To whom much is given, much is required. Okay, since we want to go with the Christian stuff. Miss Wanda always throwing God around like a meat shield when she get caught up in her daughter is constantly being dragged through the YouTube social media streets. Don't talk about my daughter. You talking about them like they not human. Well, you know what? She treated Mel like Mel wasn't human. Okay? Because she used her as a come up so that her husband can make something of himself. And then as soon as the hot water got cut off and the flow of, riding off of her coattails was cut off, the generosity was cut off, and it was time for y'all to get it out the mud on your own. Okay. Then it was a problem. It's like, oh, I thought we was cool. Yeah, we are cool, but I'm not your mama. Okay. That's the position Mel took. I'm not your mama. I'm not your sister. I don't have to love you. I don't have to look out for you. I gave you the method of how to fish. Now get your damn reel, fishing rod, get your fish wire and hooks and bait and go fish and feed your family. Do you get it out the mud? You feel me? Tisha got side chick mentality. She wants to emulate Melody and the parameters of her marriage that appeared to be powerful. And it was powerful until Martell started doing what he was doing. We all know that with his trashy, curb ass, dusty ass. Okay? Even now, she can't stand the fact that Melody will not give her any energy at all because she wants to be able to copy off of Melody's paper. Eyes on your own paper, baby. This is the bed you made. This is what you wanted. You wanted to be able to play mean girl games. And when you play stupid what games, you win stupid prizes. All right. So we're going to go over here to this thing with Trash Tail and him supposed to be appearing on a panel for a dang on women's empowerment panel. Is that what we're doing? Here's the website. Okay, it's gonna be supposed to be here coming up in the next week or so. Uh, yeah, week and some change away on a Sunday. He's supposed to be appearing at this empowerment brunch with a bunch of females in his Buster Brown tight suit to what? To do what? I'm just curious. I just want to know who he gonna be empowering. Side chicks? Is he just going there to flirt with a bunch of pygmies? I'm just curious because I'm looking through all of this here, and this is really a shame. What we have here as his bio on this website here. It's a shame. It's really a shame. Somebody need to contact Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity and let them know how he is moving out here because it's not a good look for the organization. It's not a good look for the boule. He is not a aristocratic type of person. He is dust on the side of the curb and what we call curb rats back in Chicago. He is a hood booger. He is a project rat. He is a man thought. Okay. And he is what we call a jiggahoe. Jiggaheaux. Jiggahoe. Okay. That's what Martell is, in my opinion. All right. There's nothing distinguished about him. All right. He's not an entrepreneur. He's not making any money other than what checks have been cut for him on this reality show. Let's keep it real. This is all gaslighting here. This is why I'm doing this to show you how we have been rocked to sleep as Black people, as a Black nation, by the baby boomer era, just after the inception of desegregation, right? They didn't desegregate us to give us equal opportunities. They desegregated us so they could keep an eye on us, to keep a thumb on our neck and put a push pin in our progress like they have been doing for centuries. Y'all can believe it if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But this bio is all gaslighting. Martell did not launch anything. Melody did. Let's just keep it plain, make it plain. You know, he is not distinguished. He's broke. He's broken. He's spiritually bankrupt. He has no soul left. He destroyed his own life as he once knew it all by himself. Okay, so let's stop throwing Shade over there and trying to make Melody hold half of the responsibility of how she responded to abuse, whether it was during the divorce or since they have been divorced for almost pushing up on 4 years now. Okay, it's time to move on from this antiquated dark age mentality that black women do not deserve to say no to abuse, that we don't deserve to hold tight steadfastly on a big gigantic fuck you and be able to spread our wings and live up to who God designed us to be and have high standards and not step down, because I can't tell you how many times I have been accused of thinking, oh, well, you think you better than us? No, I just don't behave that way because it makes me feel sick. It's sick to sit and laugh at some another woman's pain. It's sick to gossip behind her back and take pleasure in making jokes of what a family is going through that's being dismantled and has innocent children that didn't ask to be involved in that bullshit. Okay? You know? And furthermore, Martell is not a charismatic leader of anything but being a man hoe, a jigger hoe, a curb nigga. This is the type of dude that I see back home with, a decent yet dated car, luxury vehicle. He might have a knockoff watch, a couple of decent pieces of costume jewelry that front flossing like they real, sitting, driving around the block repeatedly. Every time you see him come around, he either have a different chick in there or he got three other dudes in there that either blowing smoke or just standing around trying to look important, but don't have no direction. And the only thing they got accomplished that day was finding a fresh wife beater to wear to show off his jail muscles, to try to flex and get his hooks in his next victim. See, women like me from the shy, they call us the B word because we are not weak minded and feeble and can't make a sound, concise statement to somebody that's playing in our face. I get a little upset. This triggers me because I grew up being gaslit. I was severely bullied and debased by my older brothers and teased and put on a second class citizen level. And my mother enabled it by turning her head to it and dismissing the plea that my sister and I made to her to protect us and give them consequences to being abusive to their sisters, where my father was on the opposite end of that spectrum and he gave consequences to his sons for being abusive and abrasive with his two little girls. My dad was a girl dad, even though he had two boys and two girls. He was a girl dad and he didn't play that shit. My dad was not physically, verbally, or emotionally abusive to my mother at all. Now, did he respond? Yes, he sure did in rare Taurus form because my mother was a provocative victim. And I remember growing up, he used to explain to me why he had to either raise his voice to my mother or why he was short with me shortly after me trying to get his attention and connect with him. Sometimes he was short and I understood why, because he explained, you know what, daddy didn't mean to chop you short like that. I was a little upset. My patience was being tested. This is something that I let me cool off. I'm gonna take a walk, baby girl. Then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna have our father-daughter date. My dad was amazing when it came to patience with his black woman. Okay. And he took good care of my psyche. That's why I can get up in the face of a narcissist and not flinch because I know what I'm dealing with when I see it and I can read the room and I can feel it like hot coals being being suspended behind the base of my neck where my hair stand up on it and I feel heat on the back of my neck when I'm in the room with a narcissist. That's why I say Melody is an empath, an indigo child, a sigma empath, because we feel things that many people overlook and have become desensitized to. You feel me? Now, Martell is not a man among men, neither. And the female fan base he has, once again, shame on you. The men that support this and enable this behavior, and they're okay with knowing that allegedly there is been amplified abuse to his own children because he is upset that Melody will not bend, bow, or scrape to him, is deplorable. Okay? I don't want to hear nothing no abuser has to say. There's nothing new that I can learn from him. There's nothing that I care to even invest my time in beyond going next. No, thank you. Now, have I been perfect? Has my picker been off when it come to men, friends, female friends, choosing people? Yeah, I've made some mistakes along the way and I've had a poor picker. My husband wasn't shit. Okay. But that does not negate the fact that I had a lesson to learn. And once I learned that damn lesson, you better believe that the second time, third time, fifth time, 12th time around was much shorter than the first. You understand? You have to evolve beyond abuse. That's where your healing is. You have to know that it's okay to send your ex husband, the father of your children, to jail if he crossed that boundary, whether you still married or not. People shamed us into us Gen X into not calling the police on a black man. You don't call the police on a black man. That's a black man. No matter what he do, even if he kill you, it had got the victim blame. It had to be something she did to drive him to that. Nobody deserves to be off, smoked out for leaving, for discarding you. You gonna smoke me out? No, sir. No, sir. No, ma'am. Okay, we're gonna just skip right over the fashion icon because you know what, Trash Tail, them suits is too tight. You know good and well you shrinking from the stress, trying to juggle all these lies and manipulative things and keeping your side chick mistress mouth so shut. It's too late now. It's absolutely too late. You have no apparel line because you don't have no money to put into it, and these people do not want to work with you. Okay. Everything you have done so far in the line of business and trying to be an entrepreneur has crashed and burned, and it will continue to do so until you examine your soul and locate the healing in accountability, because you cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. Okay, for the people up in the nosebleed seats. So the supporters of any endeavor or venture of an abusive person, male or female, yuck. Yuck. I don't want nothing to do with it. Call it whatever you want. Okay. At this big age of 52, once I find out that the person has a checkered past, I don't care how fleetingly short it is or was, I don't want nothing to do with you, because if you'll do that to your at that time wife and your children, who else will you do it to? Hello, coleslaw. Hello, Sheree. Hello, Belinda. Come on now. Why are we excusing this abuse on network? Carlos Drama Queen. Why are we turning our head and subconsciously programming our youth that's watching this that it's okay to suffer in silence? Why? Why? Okay. Marriage is not the be all end all of a woman's life. Oh, I was married now. Okay, now what? Did you plan your life together or did you just plan your wedding day? You feel me? As a child, a product of a very dysfunctional marriage, a very mentally and emotionally abusive marriage, I suffered. My mother neglected me. She did not pour into me the things and the items and the pathology of what a self-assured woman should be. I got that from my grandmother and from my father. Your mother is your first teacher. Emotionally checking out, being short and contrite with your children, Tisha, being scramble brain, scatterbrain, dingbat, and then just sitting there looking helpless. All you're doing right now, sweetheart, is surviving. Okay? You can't thrive while you're in survival mode. All right. So, with that being said, hopefully this touched somebody's heart, mind, soul, spirit, understanding that narcissistic gaslighting is very traumatizing. Emotional and mental abuse and neglect is deeply wounding to the psyche and it's not okay. Okay. Toxicity is not cute, it's not healthy, and it will not only age you faster, but it will make you physically sick. Okay, Kimmy? Cap and Kimmy? Stress is the onset of many, many, many life threatening diseases and illnesses. That's why it's important to watch what you say, watch what you think, watch how you treat yourself and how you talk to yourself, and give consequences to those who violate those boundaries. All right. And I'm going to get out of here. I've been up here for 52 minutes and 26 seconds. You take care of yourself, preserve your peace. Okay. Start drinking your water, mind your business, and love you first. Don't give yourself a pass for something that you would check somebody else for. If you know you mistreating yourself, then you got to check yourself on that too. Affirmations. When you find yourself sliding into poor behavior, being lazy with your self care, when you feel like you can't move forward, you got to be gentle and patient with yourself. Grief is something that you can't put a timer on. You also can't live there either. Okay? One love, everybody. Peace. Be good to yourself. Go on those luxurious trips, save up, put your money aside, start off small, invest in yourself first. Because if without self care, how can we take care of our babies? How can we nurture them? How can we learn the lessons to be able to pass on to them? Or are we going to just stay stuck in one position? Don't quiet, don't say nothing. Don't talk about that's embarrassing. How you gonna make the family look? What the church gonna think? What the neighbors gonna say? It don't matter. Because if I'm uncomfortable, then means my family is uncomfortable. And I'm not going to let nobody make them uncomfortable, including me. Okay, one love, everybody. Queen Common Sense out for now. Peace.